everybody, it's Femtrooper, and because I recently just got 10,000 subs, oh my goodness, I know, let's do a Q&A. I recently just hit 10,000 subs. Now we are at 11,000. I cannot believe it. This is insane. I am so thankful. Anyone who is subscribed, I mean, thank you so much. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. Let's grow the channel even more. This is so fantastic. I am thrilled beyond your imagination. I'm just so excited. I'm very humbled, and I've been on YouTube for a really long time, so to see the 10,000 was a really big deal to me. So thank you again to everyone. Last week-ish, I asked on Twitter and YouTube, ask me some questions. So we're going to answer all those questions today. If you have any questions for me that didn't make the video, post them in the comments below. Post any comments. I'm just super thrilled to have you here. Let's begin. Let's start it off with a question from Gail of Darkness. Is there a retro console you're curious about and want to start getting into now? Yes and no. No, in the sense that I'm kind of just happy with what I've got. I only kind of buy new stuff at this point. My Super Nintendo collection, I'm pretty much happy with it. There might be the odd thing that I want to get, but overall, no, I don't really go retro. I kind of just, what I have is what I have. But yes, in the sense that there are some consoles I've always been curious about. I missed out on the Dreamcast, and I've always been curious to check that out. And same thing with the TurboGrafx 16. I mean, it looks so cool. So those are retro consoles I'm interested in, but realistically probably not going to collect for. Next, we have a question from Oki22Able. What inspired you to become a video game collector? And love your videos, by the way. Well, thank you. And it's funny, I don't consider myself a collector, but I know a lot of people looking at this would be like, well, you are. So for me, I don't have like any goal for collecting. I don't want like a certain amount of, Switch games, or I don't want this many JRPGs. Like, there's no goal. I literally just buy the games that come out that I want to play, and if I like them, I keep them, because I kind of use them as trophies, if you will. And it's kind of weird, because if I don't like a game and I hate it, I usually trade it in. So most of what you see on the shelf is stuff that I really like. The next question is from Toad. Congrats, Paige. My question to you is, with the next Nintendo console likely coming out this year, name 3 franchises that you would like to have a game launched along with the console. Okay, well, the first one that comes to mind 100% is Donkey Kong Country. We need a new Donkey Kong. I'm sorry, I'm just so mad that we didn't really get one for Switch at all. It's just been a port, so I would love that. I would love to see Dragon Quest 12 on it. That would be amazing. So Dragon Quest, and obviously Super Mario Brothers. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna make like maybe an Odyssey 2 or something like that, but that's what just comes to mind. All right, this one's from Finch460. Congratulations. What was the game that got you addicted to gaming? For me, it was The Legend of Zelda on NES. Ooh, the game that got me addicted to gaming? Probably Pokemon Blue, if I'm honest, and that's way after I was playing Super Nintendo games, but that was a true addiction and made me think like, A, I like JRPGs, and B, I really like video games as a whole. So probably Pokemon Blue, but that's a tough one. Next, we got a question from Sam Frito. I love the enthusiasm. Gaming is better with plenty of that. Keeps enjoying the journey. My question, do games you never beat seem unplayable from a certain point? Do you have to restart games if it's been a while since you played them? Okay, so I don't really drop games. So if I haven't played a game, for a long time, then I would obviously restart it, but I don't do that, actually. I just go through them. So I used to do that, but not anymore. So, if I'm playing a game, it's because I just started it and I'm going to actually finish it. And do games you never beat seem unplayable? I mean, if it's unplayable, I just drop it and it's done, and I'm over it. I don't care. There are games that I don't talk about on here because I tried them and they're gone, and that's that. Upset Nerd says, yay, way to go. My question for you is, what are your thoughts about game companies charging for game features like New Game Plus, for example? Well, my thoughts are this. Big time, no. I'm not a DLC person, don't care. The odd time I will pay for it, but overall, to me, if you're buying a game and it's, you know, $79.99, $89.99 in Canada. Yes, new games are $89.99. I'm sorry, but the full package should be there, and it should be finished. It should be a finished product. I don't like this, like, oh, well, there's gonna be updates. It's like, then it shouldn't have been released. So I'm not really into that. To me, when you buy a game, everything should just be included. Generation Pixel says, a simple question, Kiryu or Majima? Who is your favorite? It's Kiryu, but I do like Majima. He's awesome. Great series, Yakuza, fantastic, recommend it to everybody, but Kiryu is the GOAT, and, I mean, yeah, wonderful. Play it if you haven't. Marcus Scop says, who are some of your favorite video game characters? Okay, definitely Kiryu. I know we just said that, but for real, he really is. I'm a huge Toad fan, from Super Mario Brothers. Love Toad to bits. He's just one of the best characters ever. I really like Clementine from the, Walking Dead series. Love her. I think she's great. That's a great series if you haven't played it. I really like, Ichiban from Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Love him. He's fantastic. I also really like Rab from Dragon Quest XI. He is one of my favorite characters ever in a game. I don't know, I connected with him so much. And I love Sylvando as well from Dragon Quest XI. Huge fan of that. I really like Date and Aba from AI The Somnium Files. Great duo. Amazing. They're fantastic. That's another great series you should check out. Love Monokuma from Danganronpa, and I love Bowser Jr. as well from the Super Mario series. He's just so funny and cute. It's mostly cute, but just love him. And I really actually like Zack from Final Fantasy, like Zack Fair from Crisis Core. Great character. I love Cloud, but something about Zack, he's just great. Benjamin Darling Music says, congrats on hitting 11K. Gaming question, what game would you love to see get a modern remake? Personal question, how did you and your husband meet? Okay, so for what I would like to see get a remake, if I'm honest with you guys, I would love to see Earthbound get a full remake. I mean, I love the game to bits, but I would love to see modern audiences check it out and get like a full remake. I think that would be great. I know it's cliche, but I would also love to see Chrono Trigger get like the Octopath Traveler treatment. I think that would also be fantastic. We just got Super Mario RPG remakes, so you never know. Some of these older games, I mean, I'm holding out. You never know. I've never played Xenogears, and I think that would be a great one. I think it's a great candidate for a remake because I would like to play it, and I think that would make it more accessible to me. So those are just ones off the top of my head. And how did me and my husband meet? Technically, we were probably around 12. We met in grade 7. So we met in grade 7. We were friends in band and started dating when we were 15. And now I'm almost 35, so we've almost been together for 20 years. Okay, this one is from a random username, so let's just go with it. Is there one thing that games had back in the day that they just don't have now, or are we all just blinded by nostalgia? I think we kind of are blinded by nostalgia because I've played so many amazing games in the last, like, 10 years that are beyond, like, phenomenal, that I feel like, yeah, are there amazing games from 1995? Yes, but there are equally just as great games right now. So I don't necessarily think games were better back then, and I don't necessarily think they're better now. I think games are just good. There are great, there are great people making games right now, and there are great people making games back then. So we have some classics that, in my opinion, stand up like you would not believe. Like, they are amazing. You can play them in 2024 and they're fantastic, and they're from 30 years ago. And then you got games now that are horrible. So it really depends, but I do think there are great games from every decade. Okay, another one from a random username. My question is, have you ever played Kingdom Hearts, or are you planning to get into it? It's my favorite series of all time, and I'd love to see you play it. I've tried to get into Kingdom Hearts twice, and it still hasn't worked, but I am planning to try it a third time, and if it doesn't work, then I will officially give up, but I want to give it one more chance. When? I don't know, but yes, I will give it one more chance. Matthew 777-2005 says, congrats on 11,000 subscribers. My question is, how do you find time to complete so many games being a wife, mother, and YouTuber? Simple. You play at night. I mostly play games when my son is sleeping, And my husband and I have such an amazing relationship and value each other's hobbies. So, you know, we do things together, obviously, but I make sure that I have time to game and he has time to do his hobbies. When my son is sleeping, then yes, I mostly do all that stuff. I do anything I'm gonna do, whether that's go for a run, play video games, watch a movie with my husband, whatever it is that we're doing. It's usually when our son is sleeping. So yeah, it's hard during the day. Like a Saturday morning used to be like, oh, do whatever you want, but not so much when you have a 4-year-old. But yeah, it's tough. But I would say that if you have a great relationship and a great partner and you value each other's time and hobbies and you respect that, you know, the other person has stuff they want to do, then yeah. Okay, Kato Show 2 says, congratulations. What game within your game library was something you had to walk away from? I mean, a game I dropped, like Octopath Traveler is the one that comes to mind because I was just like, I can't, but I like this game in the sense that I respect it for so many reasons, so I didn't actually trade it in. So I still have it on the shelf, but yeah, I did walk away from it, I guess. Next question is from Josh Ramirez 7. It says, well, I know you also like movies from being an OG Femtrooper subscriber. What has been some of your favorite movies over the last few years, and thoughts on the Mario movie? Congrats. Firstly, thoughts on the Mario movie. I thought it was fantastic. Is it the best animated movie out there? Absolutely not. But it's a really, really good movie, and for Super Mario Brothers, it's great. Like, it was a fantastic time, super fan servicey. It appealed to gamers like me, and I really, really enjoyed it. Now, in terms of movies, if you guys don't know, hardcore movie fan, I just don't really talk about it on here. My husband and I try our best to see a million movies over the last couple years. Been really hard because we've had a little kid, but recently we've tried really hard, and like I've seen a ton of movies lately. So almost seen every Oscar nominee, like the big ones for this year. I think I've seen all the Best Picture nominees at this point. But anyway, we're really, really, really into it. If I have movies that I would recommend to you over the last few years, the big one is this is like from 2016, so this is not new. But if you've not seen The Hunt for the Wilder People, see that movie. That's a really great movie. I'm trying to think of other obscure movies that you should check out. The Lobster, Handmaiden, Long Way North. That's different. I'm trying to find things that were weird and not obvious. Mother. That was a really weird movie. Really great. I recommend that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm on my Letterboxd right now. I'm hardcore into it. In terms of this year, my top 10 movies, if you must know, are Poor Things, Barbie, The Holdovers, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, The Captain, so Io Capitano, Leave the World Behind, Air, and The Iron Claw. That's my top 10 at the moment. Oh no, and Past Lives. Sorry, there's my 10. Sorry, I stopped it at 9. But yeah, that's a tough one because I could go on and on and on about movies, but I legitimately love movies, and we see a ton of them. So yeah, I've seen pretty much all the big heavy hitters from this year. But yeah, that's a really tough question. But maybe if you follow me on Letterboxd, we can chat movies. But yeah, I love movies. Donnie Oculus says, congrats! I was watching some of your videos yesterday and was wondering what your process is like for making videos. How do you prepare? Do you have a script, bullet points, or anything else to help cover what you want to talk about? Okay, so if I'm completely honest here, I sort of come over here and I kind of wing it. Sometimes if it's a review, I have bullet points where it's like, I gotta make sure that gets in there. But I kind of just come up here and I talk about how I feel. I am not IGN. I don't come on here to give you all the details about a game. I come on here to talk to you about how I feel. So when I do a review or I do a lot of things, it's mostly emotion and feeling based because that's it. If I play a game and I loved it, I want to tell you how it made me feel. What kind of emotions did it evoke? Did it make me cry? Did it make me mad? Did I want to throw the game at a wall? Those are the things I want to share with you. I don't really want to share with you, how to increase your HP. Like, those are just not, if you're wanting that, you're not going to come to my channel for that stuff. You're not going to get very, detailed stuff about the battle system. You're not getting that from me. You're getting emotion from me. So, that's how I do all my stuff. Same thing when I do a list. Obviously, I have the list made out beforehand, and I have everything in front of me, but then I kind of just come on here and tell you how I feel about it. So if it's like my top 10 games, it's like, well, here's why I like them. And I kind of just speak from the heart. Emperor Fox says, congrats. My question would be, what games or game made you become a gamer? I really don't know. That's so hard because I've played video games since I was 5. So I don't really have an answer for that. I would say key games that kind of pulled me in would be Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, Pokemon Blue, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Final Fantasy X. Those are all games that made me feel like I love this, I'm hooked. Definitely, yeah, huge shout out to Mario, Donkey Kong, and Pokemon as a series. And then Final Fantasy kind of pulled me into the JRPG thing. Like, yeah, I'd played JRPGs before, but not really. And Final Fantasy X made me go like, oh my god, this is a thing, and I love it. So, yeah, then I started playing a bunch of things, renting them on PS2, and kind of just going from there. And then YouTube kind of solidified it. I know that sounds weird, but once I was making videos on YouTube, I felt like, yeah, this is my thing, and I kind of just really dove in. Mad Kaiser 4887 says, congrats on 11,000 subs, well deserved. What inspired you to come up with the name Femtrooper? If I'm completely honest with you, it's just a play on words of Stormtrooper. It has nothing to do with anything else. I like Star Wars, and I like Stormtroopers a lot, and I think I just was like, well, I'm a girl, Femtrooper, and then I made it up when I was like 16. So I don't actually remember. I don't have some great origin story here, but it's kind of just a play on words of Stormtrooper. Rocket Launcher with Infinite Ammo says, where do you get the mindset from for psychologically organizing yourself? I get a real high from beating games, so if I'm organized, that helps me beat games. So I guess that's it. I just love lists, and I love categorizing things on my phone. So that's just a me thing. Like, I've always been into that. I get really excited when I beat a game. I can put it in a list. So say I beat a Switch game, I'm like, okay, where in my top JRPGs list does that go? Where in my top Switch games does that go? Where in my top blah, blah, blah does that go? And I get so excited. So yeah, I like that. I think that's just a me thing. Steven8612 says, congrats. Are there any gaming genres that you could never get into regardless of how hard you tried? Yeah, I don't like farming games. I don't really like Sims, like farming sims and anything to do with that. I just find it super boring, and I think the big thing is there's no end. Like, games like that don't really have an end. I know some of them do, but in a way, they're games that you can kind of keep on playing forever and ever, and I have zero interest in that. I'm very much story-based, and I want to play a game, get from A to Z, and move on to the next game. It's like watching a movie. I don't want to just watch something, like, infinitely. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me, so I don't like that. I don't like realistic racing games. I don't like sandbox games. Never really got into that. I can kind of get into Grand Theft Auto, but like stuff like Far Cry, it's just not really for me, and I don't really like Western RPGs. So I'm not a Skyrim person. I don't want to play Dark Souls. I know that is Japanese, but you know what I mean? Like, that style is just not really for me. There's a few genres that I can't say I like or don't because I haven't really tried them. Never really gotten into shmups, for instance. Maybe. But it's just not really my thing. But the first thing that comes to mind is just farming stuff. It's boring to me. I don't like it. So I don't like Animal Crossing. I don't like Harvest Moon. Sorry. I just don't. It's just not my thing. 90s Handheld Gamer says, congrats. If you could only have one game console for the rest of your life, what would it be? Easy. The Nintendo Switch. It's my favorite console of all time. It's the best console to me. The fact that it's handheld and portable, like, it can do no wrong. The library is amazing. Nintendo Switch all the way. Another random user says, congrats on 11,000 subs. Do you play any Xbox games? Sometimes, but mostly no. I do have, 360 games, and I do have Xbox One games, but that's kind of the extent of that. There's a few games I'll play on Xbox, but it's very rare. It's not even, like, it's not really my thing, and most games, I'm gonna buy the PlayStation version. So no and yes. Disney Fan 1458 says, amazing, congrats, what's your favorite all-time JRPG? Favorite JRPG from this gen? Okay, well, my favorite game of all time, and so obviously favorite JRPG of all time, is Earthbound. That's my very favorite game of all time. It will never change. I've had games come very close, but nothing can touch my precious Earthbound. And my favorite JRPG from this gen is kind of a tie. I would say it's either Yakuza Like a Dragon or Dragon Quest XI. So it varies. Sometimes I would hold like a Yakuza Like a Dragon above Dragon Quest XI, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know, they're kind of tied. So hopefully that helps. Okay, Stuart's YouTube page says, I'm so happy for you hitting that many subscribers. My question is, have you introduced your kids to gaming? And if so, what game was your favorite with them? So my son is 4, and I've made the conscious choice of he's kind of never really seen video games yet. That's a personal thing, because with most things with little kids, if you show it to them, you kind of can't go back. So it's like the second I showed him TV, it's not like you're like, okay, that's enough of that. So it's really tough to be like, oh, here's video games. Just kidding, let's put that away. So I've not shown him video games yet until I feel like video games are going to be a part of his day. So I'm thinking, because I didn't really see video games or know what they were until I was around 5, I'm thinking around 5. It's not that you can't, like I know people who have 3-year-olds who play video games. It's not about that. It's just a personal choice for me. I think maybe 5, maybe this Christmas, I don't know, or next year I might show him video games, because trust me, it's my dream to be like playing Mario Kart with my son, but he's too little. I know that he would get frustrated from a lot of things. And I don't know, it's kind of one of those things where you just don't know until you try it, but you're like, I also don't want to wreck it, so you're like, I don't know. I'm just leaving it for now. So no, I have not introduced my son to video games, but it will be within the next year, I'm sure, or maybe after, I don't know. Total Level YT says, congrats on 11,000. My question is, why do you think we all fall in love when a game is done or remade with HD pixel art graphics like Octopath, Triangle Strategy, Star Ocean Second Story R? I have my own reasons why I love that style, but would love to hear yours. I think, just personally, that 16-bit games like on the Super Nintendo are gorgeous. Like, it's an actual style. So when they completely dumped it and went to 3D for the Nintendo 64, it was hideous. But at the time, we all thought it was amazing because that was just the natural step. Oh, everything's 3D now. Not realizing the 16-bit thing is actually a really nice art style and actually looks gorgeous. And I think we get that now. We're like, oh, you can still have, you know, a game like Final Fantasy 16 where it looks beyond amazing, and then also have Octopath Traveler or Star Ocean Second Story R. You can have those because it's an actual style. So to me, I think we all just like the way it looks, but let's be honest here, we all like it, and I like it because it's nostalgic. So you see that look and it makes you think of games when you were a kid, and all these people in their 30s and 40s are, you know, we're eating that shit up. So, I mean, really, let's be honest. Rich Gray 2099 says, congrats on 11,000. What are some of your favorite character designs? Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm awful on the spot, and yes, I'm doing most of this on the spot. I thought it would be more fun that way. Geez, my favorite character designs? I mean, wow. Toad. He looks like Aladdin. I don't really have a great answer for that, if I'm honest with you, because when I think about most of my favorite characters, I mean, it's not like mind-blowing, or it's like, I love Kiryu, but he's just some guy. Like, so I don't really have the best character design answer for you. Maybe Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. I mean, I just love the look of it. He's so mysterious and creepy, but so nice and cute and amazing, and I just want to like hug him. So Vivi, I like the black mage from Final Fantasy is super cool to me. So maybe I would pick that on the spot. Terry Jenkins 5861 says, my question page is, who as far as YouTube creators do you watch, and who are some of your inspirations on YouTube? Congrats on 11,000 subscribers. Blah blah. Okay. This is a question I got from a few people, and I want to acknowledge the question because it's a fantastic question, but I don't want to answer it in the sense that I don't want to like leave somebody out, if you know what I mean. So I watch a lot of people on YouTube, and I have a lot of friends on YouTube, and I don't want to say everybody, because inevitably, like right now, I'm gonna, like, if I listed a bunch of people, I'm gonna miss like 5 people, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I feel like you know who you are if I watch your channel. You know, because I leave comments, I participate, and I share videos. So my recommendation then, if you're like, well, who do you watch then? Is go on my Twitter. See who I retweet, see who I share. Those are all people I think are awesome. And if I will say this, even if I won't name anybody right here, I watch people small and big. So, and I have friends who have large channels and very small channels. I watch people who have under 1,000 subscribers because the content is great and they're great people. And then I follow people who have hundreds of thousands of subscribers who are also amazing people and great friends. So I will say that I don't just watch big channels and I don't just watch small channels. I watch people of all sizes. So, definitely check that out. If I'm going to collab with someone, then yeah, I like their channel. And I also like doing collabs big and small. I hope that sort of answers your question. It's a little bit more research on your part, but yeah. Michael Boren 3875 says, my question to you, Femtrooper, is would you play the Resident Evil games if you were given the chance? Absolutely. I just haven't found the time to play them. I just haven't really thought about it, but I would definitely give the Resident Evil games a chance. I've heard so many different things from different people. If you guys want me to play Resident Evil, tell me where I should start because that would be very helpful, actually. Coloring at V's says, congrats, I follow you on Twitter as well and see your gaming experiences over there when you post pics. I never succeed in only playing one game at a time, so I think it's a super accomplishment that you can. Do you never get burned out, especially when you feel the game could have been much better? Do you never take side steps, and what is your reason behind playing one game at a time? I really wish I could do that, but nope. Okay. For me, I know in the past, I used to just put on a game, I'd play it, and then I'd be like, oh my god, and then I'd get like, you know, distracted and want to play a new game, and then I would never beat anything. So for me, I've just made it like kind of a personal rule that I can only play kind of 2 games at a time, and yeah, sometimes I am annoyed, and then I just get frustrated, but I still get through it, because to me, that's how I'm actually going to finish it. So yeah, I'm playing 2 games right now at the moment, and that's it. I'm not going to play anything else until one of those games is beat. So that's just my thing. And yeah, there have been the odd time, like, I remember once I was playing a visual novel and I was not really feeling it, but I was like, I have to beat this for my own silly pride. And I did. But yeah, it was a little frustrating and it definitely took a little longer, but I still beat it. And I just had the discipline to do it. I think some of it just comes down to discipline and if you really want to do it. Lee McMurphy 2765 says, congratulations on the milestone. Do you plan on playing Dragon Quest Monsters: The Dark Prince? Curious your take on the game. Yeah, I've had a lot of people actually say it's pretty good. If I'm honest with you, I hated Dragon Quest Treasures, and ever since that came out, and ever since I forced myself to beat that, I've been kind of like hesitant on Dragon Quest spin-offs, because I was like, that game made me very upset, and I did not like it. So when Dragon Quest Monsters was released, I was really hesitant. But if I'm way out to lunch, please let me know in the comments if I'm nuts and I should actually be playing it, because it's totally a game I would play and pick up because I like Dragon Quest and I like Pokemon. MJ2037 says, what do you think you would want out of Persona 6? Okay, first thing that comes to mind is older characters. Why do they always have to be in high school? And here's the thing, they don't have to be 50, it doesn't have to be like, you know, like a dragon, but could they at least be in university? I don't know, the older you get, the harder it is to relate sometimes to high school characters, and as gamers, we are getting older. There never used to be, like, you know, in the 80s, there weren't 50-year-old gamers that much, but now there are, and I feel like maybe we would like to see, like, characters in an office setting go on a crazy adventure. I don't know, just something that's more relatable. I mean, I'm sure they'll keep it to be some 17-year-old, but I would personally just really like it if the characters were older. Mike Polwart says, hi, just recently subbed and I'm glad to see your channel growing. My question is, how do you balance budgeting for your collecting versus your regular boring adult obligations? With a house and a kid and daycare, I have to be choosy and with what physical games I can buy, and was wondering, how do you go about navigating this? Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I don't have a video game budget. And you might think like, wow, that's irresponsible. Maybe, but to be honest with you, I'm not buying games like willy-nilly all the time. And I know some people do that, and it's no slam, because some people just, that's their thing. They're collectors. That's what they do. I just buy games when they come out if I want to play them. And I also save games for, like, occasions. Like, I'll be like, oh, my birthday's coming up, so I'm not buying anything, and I'll save it for somebody else to buy me, like Christmas, for instance, or, like, an anniversary or whatever. I always, you know, I always get a game for Mother's Day. That's been a tradition, so if there's something coming out around then, I'll save it and have my husband buy it. But if I'm completely honest, I just buy games as they come out that I want them. And I'm not a person who wants every single game that comes out, so it doesn't really break a budget, I guess. I don't know. So I'm just being honest, guys. I really don't have a budget for video games, and I guess long story short, I wouldn't buy what I buy if I couldn't afford it. So yes, all the stuff I buy, I can very much comfortably afford. There's no issue. And I also don't buy a million games. Like, I'm not like, oh, I bought 30 games in January. Like, no. You know, I just bought Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth because it's a game that just came out that I wanted. But that's it. Mostly because I don't like having a big backlog. I don't want to buy a million games and then they just sit on my shelf and then I feel weird because I'm always telling people to beat their games. So I don't want to have a million games just sitting around. Another username says, as a collector, how do you feel about potential next-gen consoles being digital only? And how would this affect your purchasing and collecting? The easiest thing that comes to mind is, no matter what they do in the future, I will always play video games. So if in 20 years from now it's digital only and physical is just some old joke from the past, well, of course I'm still going to play video games. I'm going to always want to play the new Final Fantasy. I don't care how it's given to me. But I will say I'm a huge advocate for physical with video games. No one can take this from me. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to, like, take it off streaming or something. So I really, truly do like having my physical games. I also just like to hold them. I like coming on here and, you know, holding them up for you guys. I really just love it. I love going to a video game store and browsing. It's kind of like how I miss Blockbuster for movies. I was able to let go of that a lot easier, but with video games, I've found it challenging. I really want the physical. But long story short, if it becomes a digital-only future, I will always play video games. I will not stop. I'm always going to play new video games, and I'm always going to be a gamer. KBurns4197 says, what game has your favorite magic? Wow, I don't actually know. I don't know if I have an answer for that one, and I feel bad. Favorite magic, hey? I mean, it's probably a JRPG, if I'm honest. Wow, that's a really hard question, and if I have a better answer in the future, I will make sure to bring it up. But I don't. I mean, I really enjoy, summons from Final Fantasy, so I enjoy that magic aspect. Any characters that are magic, I usually enjoy. So, if that helps, like, I like Terra from Final Fantasy VI, or, you know, I like, Lulu from Final Fantasy X. Like, I don't really have a favorite magic, though, but I love all the Pokemon, attacks. I love all that stuff, so if we're going into there, you know, huge Razor Leaf fan. I don't know. I have a horrible answer for this, so I'm sorry. Okay, Naomi Breast, 3212 says, who are your favorite YouTubers to watch alongside Happy Console Gamer? So I've kind of already answered that question. And where do you primarily decide to buy your games? Do you mostly buy new online, or do you have a favorite game store? Okay, this is fun to plug. So I try and support local first and foremost. And here's my quick spiel. So, in Calgary, we have Video Game Trader here, so to me, that's the #1 place to go if they don't have it or whatever. Then I like to use PNP Games, which is in Winnipeg, and they are great. They'll just ship it here, and it's a local store there. Or Video Games Plus, which is in Ontario. I love to support them as well, and they are great. PNP and Video Games Plus are awesome, especially for Americans. They always have tons of, you know, rare games, and they, you know, always have reprints. Like, the two of them are great, so I use them a lot. But if we're talking like Calgary local, I go to Video Game Trader, which I believe physically is one of the biggest stores in North America. So definitely check them out. They do have an online site, but if you're in Calgary, 100% go there. They're awesome. It's a great local store. And then, of course, I do use Amazon, Walmart, Best Buy. I do use sites like that. And then I have to say, it's sad and kind of ironic, but GameStop is the last place I go. And I'm just being honest. I don't really have a great experience there, and it's sad, but the amount of questions you are asked at the till is annoying. I'd almost rather support Walmart. So it's sort of sad, and I hate to say that because they're like the last video game store, but it's like they aren't. There are a lot of mom and pop stores, and I'm fortunate enough to be in a city that has that, and so I support it. Casey Portable Gamer says, I've recently started collecting 3DS games while still continuing to grow my Nintendo Switch collection. Do you have any Nintendo DS and 3DS recommendations? I'm a fan of all the genre of games. I'm just curious if there are any hidden gems that I don't know of. Well, I don't know if I am going to be the best for hidden gems, but quickly off the top of my head, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so in terms of the 3DS, I actually loved Moon. I loved those. They were a little different, but I liked the direction they went, and I loved it. Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Absolutely love that. Super Mario 3D Land. Love that too. And then we've got all the Dragon Quest games that are on the DS and the 3DS, so huge Dragon Quest V fan. I absolutely love Dragon Quest VIII on the 3DS. And, of course, Chrono Trigger on the DS. I mean, can't not mention that. Pokemon Soul Silver on the DS. There's a ton. There's a million games that I've also not played yet, so I'm slowly getting to them. But those are just off the top of my head, some DS and 3DS games that I really like. Ads1854 says, what is your favorite Yakuza Like a Dragon game? Mine is Yakuza 0, but a close second is Yakuza Like a Dragon. I guess if I had to pick off the top of my head, it would be Yakuza Like a Dragon, because that's one of my favorite games of all time, so I guess it would be that one. But then if we're talking with the Kiryu series, probably Yakuza 0, but if I'm honest, they're all good, and I've had a great time with every single one of them. I've yet to play one where I'm like, that was bad. Like, there's not a bad one. So I feel, and I like Yakuza 3. So, yeah, love the series and recommend it to everyone. ESP Spirits, 87 says, if you got the chance to be a character in a game, what game would it be? I've always thought if I could be in a video game, it would be the Pokemon world. I've just been obsessed with it. It was the biggest phenomenon as a kid for me, and to think about being a Pokemon trainer and actually going on that journey makes me very giddy, and I feel weird as a 34-year-old saying that would be like the best thing ever. Irid Million says, how did you decide to become a YouTuber? And also, which is the game that makes you cry the most? Okay, how did I become a YouTuber? Pretty sure it was a conversation at work with my friend Chris, like years ago, that somebody should do a YouTube channel. I don't know. I could be so wrong. I started it in 2012. Yeah, so it was just kind of like, I love talking, I love being in front of camera, and I love sharing things that I love, video games, so it kind of just made sense. And then over the years, it kind of just progressed to what it is now. So that's kind of my answer for that. What video game makes me cry the most? Ooh, that's hard, because I don't know if a video game makes me cry the most, but I've definitely cried in video games. The ending of Crisis Core is ridiculous. That's very upsetting. I cried in Dragon Quest XI because it was so emotional. Same with the end of Final Fantasy IX. Not because it was sad, it was just like I was so excited. And same thing, I legitimately shed a tear in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, so you can make fun of me for that one. Two Eyes Open says, congrats. My question to you as a fellow Earthbound fan is, if you were given the chance to help supervise a remake of Earthbound onto a modern Nintendo console, what would you like to see, and how would you like it done? Oh my gosh. Honestly, I don't have an answer. I have more of a feeling. If it evokes the same feeling and the same music and the same coziness that Earthbound did, I would be happy with it. So it has to be a big world. So I love Mother 3, don't get me wrong. It's a great game, and in fact, it probably has a better story than Earthbound. It's really, really, really good. But it wasn't a big adventure. It was kind of all in the same area, and as much as that's great, and that works in a lot of games, that works. But I want that, going across the whole world to different continents kind of thing. I am a sucker who wants a desert town, an ice town, a New York kind of town. I want that, even if it's always the same. I want that. That's what I like a lot. So it would have to be the same kind of thing. To me, it would be cool if we got all the kids in Earthbound were grown up and their kids went on an adventure. That might be kind of neat. And it was, you got to revisit some of these towns, but they're different and there were new ones, places you'd never been to. I don't know. As long as it had the same feeling and emotion that Earthbound had, then I would be very happy with it. Paul713 says, congratulations, I've joined at the right time, obviously. I would ask, are there any games that you regret not picking up when you had the chance? I'm thinking titles that are now rare or collector's editions. It's on my mind after seeing that Sephiroth statue. I would have to say no. I'm not into collector's editions, actually, so I don't really care about that stuff, and I literally will buy the ugliest looking greatest hits title as long as I own it physically. I'm a happy camper. Stephen Young says, what do you think of the current state of retro collecting with the prices being so high? I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's also kind of like, well, it's expected. And I think there's different generations that will go up in price because they know oh, well, those people are now starting to relive nostalgia, which is like why for a long time it was like, oh, Super Nintendo games, they're going up in price. And now, as much as those are going up in price, now you're seeing like GameCube games are really going up in price because the kids that grew up with that are now old enough to like buy games, and they're adults and they're starting to get nostalgia. So I think, you know, you're starting to see that. Now you're going to, you know, you see Wii games and you see PS3 games starting to go up because it's like, well, they closed the store and they just go up in price. I mean, long story short, is it unfortunate? Yeah, but it's kind of inevitable. So I don't know. I personally don't really care that much. I know that might be rude, but I don't know. I'm kind of like with older consoles, I kind of bought what I wanted to and I don't really care. As if you're collecting, it sucks. But for me, I've never paid attention to it that much because I'm kind of just happy. Social Lizard 1 says, favorite hobbies outside of gaming? What would surprise your viewers? I don't think anything would surprise them. All my hobbies are media related. I mean, I'm that kind of person. I'm a person who grew up, you know, in front of the TV watching YTV and being like consumed by media. And so most of my interests happen to be media related. But I am into running. I like jogging and running. So I don't know if that would surprise anybody, but okay, if I have to choose, I'm not going to go for a run. I'm going to play video games. But I do enjoy running, and I do enjoy a nice, like, summer run in my neighborhood. So, yeah, I do enjoy that. But movies, huge movie person with my husband. So, we're big on that. We like going to see weird movies no one's ever heard of. We like going to see all the big blockbusters. I like seeing it all. I like a huge variety. So, we're really into that. Before our son was born and we were going to see movies like 8 times a month in the theater, like, we were so obsessed with it and into it, and it's hard to do that now, but we're slowly getting back into it. And yeah, that's a huge one for me, is movies. TV shows too. I love manga, but yeah, I would say movies is my biggest. It's video games, movies, and then yeah, I'm getting more into exercising and running. Benjamin Strohecker 919 says, how many games do you and your husband have in your collection? Not a clue. I don't feel like counting. I don't have everything written down. I kind of just know what I have because it's not a crazy collection. I know some people have like 1,000 Switch games. It's like, I have a nice Switch collection, but it's not that big. So, I don't know, but it's a lot. It's a nice collection. Okay, Aaron from Nerd Crave says, if you could change one of your reviews, which one would it be and why? I don't think I would, because I think that was what I thought at the time. And yeah, there's a few that I've changed my mind on. Where I was like, yeah, this game's pretty good. Then I thought about it after. I was like, I don't know. But it was at the time. It's all what I think about in the present. So probably not. I don't think I would change anything. Blink says, what's your biggest bit of advice for keeping up with your game hobby as a parent? I had my first kid last year, and it was an adjustment. Yes, I feel you. Things are less chaotic now, but I'm curious to hear how you handle the balance. At first, I was not doing any gaming, and then I slowly got into it, and then you find a routine. So right now, obviously during the day, yeah, no, I'm not playing video games, or I'm at work or whatever. But then at night, when my son goes to bed, because little kids go to bed early, they're not staying up till like 10 at night. When he goes to bed, that's my time to shine. So that's when I'll play video games or do something with my husband. So I think that's it, is your kid just has to start sleeping. Okay, this next one is fun. So I will start it off by saying hello. And then, because I had to, it's from John Chicken Fillets. So he asks, console gaming or handheld gaming? If I had to choose, I would probably pick handheld gaming because it's convenient anywhere. Console is strictly on your TV. But now that I have my PlayStation Portal, I can actually play PlayStation 5 games anywhere, and I can play them in bed now, which is phenomenal. I'm loving it. So that's great. But I love both. I love both. Bonus question, Final Fantasy VII, discuss. Here's what I can say about Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII Remake made me love Final Fantasy VII. I know that's maybe bad, because I loved the first one, thought it was great, like the original. But then when I played Remake, I connected with the characters so much more that now I have more of an appreciation for the original. And so, yeah, I love Final Fantasy VII now. I think it's one of the best Final Fantasies. My favorite Final Fantasy as a whole is probably Remake, honestly. But if we're strictly talking about like original games, Final Fantasy VII is not my favorite, but it's high up and I think it's great. And I love all the stuff, the spin-offs. Like I love Crisis Core. Oh my god, that's one of the best games. I love it so much. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII is great. Brandon at Just the Gem says, if you could do one thing differently in your YouTube journey so far, what would it be? probably take my YouTube channel more seriously earlier on, I guess. But no, it's fine. You know, you go through things in your life and you don't care. I've really started to really truly care about my YouTube channel in the sense where it's not just like whenever I feel like it. I have a schedule. I think it helps with viewership as well as just getting people connected to your channel. If you're posting videos randomly whenever you want, then people forget or they don't know when you're gonna post. So I like to be consistent. Like, it's like kind of like a TV show where you can rely every Thursday at 9 it's on. It's like kind of the same thing. So I try and be consistent, and I'm having so much more fun with it actually because of that. That Decretia guy says, who was your biggest inspiration for your channel? I've always thought about this and I don't know. I know that sounds bad, and I have a really good memory. I can remember like what shirt I was wearing in 1996 on a Thursday, but I like cannot for the life of me think about who was doing videos when I first started in 2012 that I was actively watching and going, that's what I want to do. I wish I could, because I would love to. I know certain people from back then who were making videos, but I just don't remember, and I wish I did. It's very sad, and I wish I had a great answer for you in terms of like who I was watching. So I'm kind of bummed about that. Some people back then are still making videos, which I think is great. And I love that so much. And other people have just kind of faded away or just dropped it as a hobby. And that's fair. I mean, that was like 12 years ago. So yeah, I don't have an answer and I wish I did. Galactoid says, what's a game or games you'd like to see get a physical release? Oh, and congratulations. A game get a physical release that I haven't seen get one? I don't know, because I mostly just play physical games. So games that don't. Maybe something that was like digital only, like Phantasy Star, the Ages version, like for Switch, maybe, because I'd like to own that. Or maybe like the original Star Ocean, because that's on Switch. It'd be nice to get a Switch version of that, but that's all I can come up with. Okay, Welshie974 says, if you were a character in a JRPG, what class would you be? I'd probably be a mage. I'd probably be somebody who has magic powers. Not a white mage, a black mage. Because I'm not into healing, but not really a medic type. I don't think I'd be like the hero. I think I'd be like the mage. I don't know. They're just cool. Druisk1 says, as a parent, do you allow yourself to play violent games in front of your child? Is there an age where you feel it's okay? I'm curious about your opinion on this, as I could never decide for my children and usually settle for T-rated games. I've kind of gone over that. I have a 4-year-old, so he doesn't see anything violent. I mean, I certainly saw a few things I should not have seen at 4, like Alien. I don't know what was going on there. But he has not seen, like, truly violent things, ever. I mean, he's watching, like, Disney movies. Like, he's not watching violent things, and because I already discussed this, he hasn't really seen video games, so he hasn't really seen any of that. When I do introduce video games to him, though, it's not obviously going to be like Grand Theft Auto. It's going to be like Super Mario Brothers, Kirby, things that I played when I was a kid, like Donkey Kong, maybe a JRPG that's like tame. Like, I'm not going to show him Final Fantasy 16 when he's 4. So, like, there's just a few things where you're like, okay, no, obviously not. Yeah, that kind of answers the question. Danny White says, what's the worst game you've ever played and did you complete it? Okay, yeah, I have some really bad ones that I can't stand, and I will definitely make a video, but what comes to mind, I'm sorry, I'm gonna make so many people mad with this one, but I think it's my least favorite Switch game that I've ever played, and that's saying something, because I really truly hated it, and that is Pokemon Legends Arceus. I did not like it. I seriously, it made me so mad. I couldn't wait to just give it to Video Game Trader and be like, please take this from me, and I want to buy something I do like. I hated it so much. It was not my kind of Pokemon game. It's pretty much just collecting. I hate that. I like going on an adventure. It was not that, and I just didn't like it. I really hated the vibe of it. Just hearing the music makes me mad, and sorry, I hated it. Chris Amaro says, what is the biggest thing you've learned with doing YouTube, and what is your least favorite thing with doing YouTube? Okay, the least favorite thing is editing videos. I hate it. It's so annoying, and I'd rather be playing games, if I'm honest with you, but I want to put out my content, so obviously I do it, but it's really annoying. So, and I'm sure a lot of people would agree that editing sucks. And in terms of what have I learned from YouTube? Honestly, I've learned about video games. I've come on here and learned about franchises and games that I didn't know about. When I first started doing this, I'm almost 35 next month, or when this video comes out. Whatever. I'm almost 35, and I was 23 when I started my YouTube channel. When I was 23, I didn't know about a lot of these franchises. I hadn't played Dragon Quest yet. I didn't know what SMT was. I mean, I was pretty, like, I don't want to say I was some basic gamer, because I still like JRPGs, but I didn't know a lot of some of these more niche, like, if you were like, hey, do you know Trails in the Sky? Like, no, I did not know what that was when I was, like, 20. So, yeah, YouTube has made me learn about all sorts of different franchises, different video games, like everything, genres, consoles, everything. So, yeah, I thank YouTube for that big time. Happy New Year! Parsnip Coffee says, what got you into gaming? What was your first game? My first game, as far as I know, was F-Zero on the Super Nintendo, and it was so exciting, and I can hear that Mute City music, like, so exciting. I actually remember the moment I played it, so, and I was like 5, so very exciting, big moment in my life. And then what really got me into gaming? I mean, all of it. I mean, I would rent video games at Blockbuster and Rogers and all the video game stores constantly. I loved the feeling. I loved the music associated with it. And just the more I rented and played and grew older, the more I liked them. So, yeah. Unapologetically Thomas says, if you could create your own game, unlimited budget, what would it be? Oh man, I mean, I'm sure that's a video in itself. I would create a JRPG. It would be a big grand adventure with fun characters, and it would be very colorful, whimsical, and probably like Earthbound, probably modern day. Yeah. Abril says, what are your favorite indie JRPGs? Indie RPGs. Probably Cosmic Star Heroine. I also don't play a lot of indie JRPGs, so I don't have a great answer. But that's one I played that I thought was fantastic, and I realize it's not made by Japanese people, but I still consider it a JRPG. Adam says, what are some of your favorite bands or artists? A very hard question. I'm a big music buff. I never mentioned that before. I don't know why. I've been into music since I was a little kid. My dad's a musician. Music's been a big part of my life. I was in band throughout, my schooling years. And I was like really into it. I wasn't just like, it wasn't casual. It was very serious. I was very into it. I was played clarinet, sax. I even took up oboe. Like I even was playing vibraphone. Like I was hardcore. I was like the band person, and it's like embarrassingly the band person. So, I love everything. There's a few genres not so much into, but like overall, like I would say, obviously rock, pop, big genres, huge music score fan, huge movie score fan, huge. Like one of my favorite genres ever. I'm obsessed with scores from everything, like scores from cartoons, scores from TV shows, scores from movies, scores from video games. I love scores. And I love J-pop, I love K-pop, so I love all that stuff too. But I also love, various music genres within, like I love jazz, I love like old like big band music, I love that stuff, I love crooners, I love it all, honestly. I'm a huge music person, so yeah, it's tough to pick specific artists, but just huge music. I could go on for a while, so that's a tough one to just answer right then and there, but yeah, huge into music. Cyrus Bright says, how do you find time to balance in real life stuff, gaming, content creation? You just have to be organized, and you just have to balance stuff. So like, I don't focus on my channel every day. Like I'm not down here filming videos every day. Maybe I'm playing a game. Maybe I'm out for a run. Maybe I'm doing something else. Maybe I'm going grocery shopping. Like everything, as long as I have time, I ensure that I put out one video a week. I make sure to have time to do things. Like I try and make sure that I'm running and staying healthy, but I also make sure that I am playing games, because that's my thing. So, and I also really want to keep up with different movies, so I try and balance it out, but it can be challenging. Okay, I think I got mostly everything from Twitter and YouTube in terms of questions, but my friend Ruben did ask me a question on Discord, and so he said, how do you feel about looking like Rogue from X-Men? I think it's a compliment. Rogue's dope, so let's go with that. And when are you committing to Final Fantasy 12? Realistically, I don't know. I do want to play it, but when I make a list of things I want to play, it doesn't make the cut, and I'm sorry. Maybe next year or the year after. I'm trying to be realistic, because I already have a list for this year, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to give it a shot. I would like to give my thoughts on it. And then where is the PS Portal review? It's on my list to do, because I haven't actually been using it. I've been playing Switch, and now that I'm playing Infinite Wealth, I think I will have a lot to say about the Portal, because I am playing that on the Portal. So a Portal review will happen very soon, maybe in February or early March. Okay, some questions on Threads. All right, Neo My Geo says, what inspired you to start making YouTube videos in the first place? I've always thought about putting myself out there, but can't cross that threshold myself. Sort of already answered this, but the biggest thing is just wanting to talk about video games on camera. I mean, really, that's what it is for me. And it is weird just talking to a camera, but you do get used to it. And I don't even care anymore. I just come down here and I can talk to it, and it's, I don't know, it's actually just fine. I also find it kind of therapeutic in a way, like the way like people like to blog. Vlogging is kind of cool because I keep like a record of everything, where it's like, oh, these are games I beat, or these are my thoughts. It's neat because I can look back at me like 10 years ago and what I was talking about, and it's kind of cool. So yeah, I mean, just wanting to have my own show kind of is what inspired it. Game Junction Media says, here's one for you, since we have a lot of mutual friends. Who and what has inspired you the most to start content, and what is it that kept you going and avoiding burnout? Okay, in terms of the burnout, because I've already answered the other a few times. In terms of the burnout, I've had that a few times over the years, and I think the biggest thing is, if you just, like, this is my advice, if you just post randomly whenever you want, whatever, your channel is not going to grow as fast. And I learned that because I used to just post whenever I wanted, and sometimes that would be like once every week, which was great. And then all of a sudden it would go from once a week to once every month, and then I'd post 3 months later, and then I'd post, another week would go by, I'd post, and then 3 months would go by again. That's no good. Don't do that. That's my biggest advice, is consistency. You have to have, a schedule, and you have to post a specific time. So maybe that's every 2 weeks for you, but I think once a week is actually pretty good. It does sound like a lot of work, and it kind of is. But if you post once a week or twice a week or whatever it is, your videos are going to get out there, more people are going to see you, and your channel is going to grow faster. What rate, I don't know, but it's going to grow faster. Pokey Mudcat is asking, favorite RPG battle tunes. Wow. I mean, the classic Pokemon battle theme is a big one for me. And, oh geez, I like a lot of JRPG music, but if I'm honest, I've never really found a battle theme besides maybe Pokemon that I was like obsessed with. It's always something else, like a town theme or maybe a final boss theme, because there are some great final boss or just boss themes in like the Persona series. Don't even get me started about the final boss theme in Yakuza Like a Dragon. Holy smokes, it's amazing. There's a lot of great themes in games, but a battle theme, I think it's because you hear it so much. I've never really been into it. I mean, Dragon Quest 1, wow. All right, Paul says, what was your favorite part, the most recent time you played Earthbound? Oh, that's a really tough one, because I really just love that, but I have to say I have a soft spot for Threed. I just love Threed in every way. I love the creepiness of it. I love that it's all dark. The theme to Threed is one of my favorite themes like ever in video games, so Threed wins for most things. It's so creepy, so amazing, so nostalgic. I just really liked it. But I also enjoyed some of the other areas that are further along in the game, like Summers. Really enjoyed that. It's just fun. Like, I love the game so much, but I really do have a soft spot for the original kind of 4 towns. Like, I really like On It, I really like Tucson, Threed, Fourside. Those are so nostalgic to me. They're more nostalgic because those are the towns that I was walking around in when I was a kid. I didn't get to some of the later on places, like Scaraba and Summers. I didn't see that till I was older, so I don't have as much nostalgia with it. But yeah, I would have to say it was just so fun reliving Threed. All right, okay, my friend Lewis says, what gaming or YouTube advice would you give yourself if you could go back 10 years? Also, if you could design your own JRPG, what kind of story and battle system would you make, and what developer would you ask to create it for you? Whoa, okay. Gaming advice to myself 10 years ago, I would say, if you want to do this, do it, but you got to be consistent, because I've learned that in order to have your channel grow, you do have to post constantly. You can't just post whenever you want. And I would say to... Well, you know, I don't know. Like, I was gonna say get better equipment or something, but I mean, it doesn't matter, because that's the beauty of seeing your channel grow over the years, is that you improve. So to tell myself to get certain equipment, I don't know. I think I would just tell myself to be consistent. I probably say care more about the thumbnails, but you know, 2012 YouTube was a different scene, so I don't know. Yeah, I would probably just tell myself be consistent and post regularly, because that is the secret. That is, sadly, that's kind of a big thing. And what kind of story? Okay, JRPG. Okay, if I could design my own JRPG, what kind of story would it be? It would definitely be modern day. Or maybe a little futuristic, but probably mostly modern day. I feel like it would have like Stranger Things vibes or like Earthbound vibes, because that's just what I like so much. Like, I love all, and maybe not modern day, maybe like, well, modern day, but like 80s. I think that would be so fun. Like some kind of Goonies adventure. And I'm not really sure the story off the top of my head, but battle system would be turn-based for sure, and very simple, like Dragon Quest and Earthbound. That's, you know, Pokemon, very simple stuff. None of this Final Fantasy 13 or any of like Xenoblade Chronicles, just really, really simple. And who would make it? Ooh, geez, years ago, I would have said Game Freak, but with the stuff they've been putting out lately, I don't really care for it, so I'd maybe say no. I'd probably just say Square Enix, to be honest, because I really like the content that they put out, and I love it. Like, if you could make it look like, you know, the new Star Ocean game, like the second story R, not Divine Force. I like Divine Force, but I'd rather have that Octopath kind of look, so... Probably Square Enix, I think, or maybe Team Asano. Like, I don't know, but something like that. Okay, my friend Jesse says, when are you going to play Fragment Story? Get out of here. No way. Asking for a friend. We all know what that is. Okay, when you run on the treadmill in game, do you treat it like HIIT, which is like high intensity workout? Do you speed up when getting to a final boss and get the adrenaline pumping, or slow down during a story part? No, I just keep my same pace. However, I do get more pumped if I'm playing Theater Rhythm on the treadmill, because some, you know, themes and songs are more intense, and so I really do like that. It kind of makes me get more excited. But no, I actually don't change my pace. I try really hard to just maintain whatever it is that I'm doing, if I'm honest. Jesse also asks, have you noticed any gaming trends in the gaming community, and what do you think of them? Like, one trend is really popular right now is cozy games. Yeah, I do notice trends like that. Like, cozy gaming is really big. That's like a thing. It's like its own genre. There's its own... There's a community just for YouTubers that do cozy gaming, and I think that's really cool, because obviously there's a type of gamer for everything, and that's neat. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know a specific trend that I'm necessarily into or not. I just play what I like playing. But yeah, I've definitely noticed it, but I don't know if I have, to be honest with you, the best answer. But yeah, I definitely do see trends, and I see games that are obviously really, like, everyone's talking about blank right now. So I do notice that, and I admit that if everybody's playing a certain game, it is fun to play it along with everybody. Jesse also asks me, you say Xenoblade Chronicles 2 you like better, but you always say Xenoblade Chronicles is the better game. What makes Xenoblade Chronicles better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I don't know anymore. I kind of think Xenoblade Chronicles I do like more. Xenoblade Chronicles is a tighter game. To me, it has better gameplay. It is just a better game. I think I liked Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because I connected more with the characters. But Xenoblade Chronicles is, in my opinion, a better game. It's better gameplay, and I do think maybe the story's a little bit better. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 kind of gets a little bit too much, where it's like, man, that game could have just been like, you know, instead of a 8 out of 10, or instead of it being a 10 out of 10, it's more of like an 8 out of 10. Versus, to me, Xenoblade Chronicles is a 10. It's like a really, really, really solid game. But and there's things in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that really drive me nuts. These, you know, points you couldn't get past, I was gonna like lose it. So those are frustrating, and I didn't have that frustration in the first one. So I do think the first game is a tighter, better, well-made game. Whew. Okay, that's my Q&A. There was a lot of questions, and this video is probably so long. If you are still watching and you stuck with it, then wow, thank you. That's very nice, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, again, thank you for all these subscribers. We're at 11,000 something now, and that's amazing, and it'd be neat to see 15,000. Let's get to 20,000. I mean, I'd love to grow this channel. It means the world to me because I really like doing this, and I love playing video games. So it's kind of like a fun way to come and talk about the thing you love and have your own show in a way. It's cool. I love it, and I really appreciate every single one of you who are subscribed. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Come join the fun over here, and remember to like this video. Leave a comment if you have any additional questions that I didn't get to. I would be happy to answer them as long as it's appropriate. And of course, I'll see you guys in my next video.